welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our MLB DFS Pitcher Picks for Wednesday, May 24th, 2017. I'm your host, Nick from CWE, and I'm here to bring you my top 3 pitchers in tournament play tonight. To me, it sits as a pretty straightforward slate, so we won't spend much time kind of hypothesizing about what could happen. For the most part, we've got a bunch of pitchers that are likely to get beat up pretty bad, and then we've got a couple of guys up at the top that I think are going to be worth building your teams around. So let's go over my one cheap play. I don't trust Jeremy Hellickson. I like him as a pitcher, but something tells me that this is going to be a rails-off situation, and even at that, he just doesn't possess enough strikeout upside to make it worth putting in your lineups. I mean, he has a high of 5 this year, and I just can't see that being something that takes down a tournament. Tyler Chatwood, on the other hand, has, a little bit more consistent strikeout. He's another guy who's not an extremely high strikeout pitcher, but he's had, for the most part, between 4 and 7 with 1-2 in there. He's gotten beat up a lot, but a lot of that is because he pitches at Coors. Not to say he hasn't given up his fair share of big outings outside of Coors, but just some notable things. I mean, he's had a 4 strikeout, no run, 9-inning complete game against the Giants in San Francisco. He pitched well in Arizona. So, I mean, if you start looking at these pitchers, near the bottom and pretty much anything below Severino, it's all a bunch of landmines. Something tells me Chatwood could come through tonight. The Phillies don't look good at the plate at this point in time, and I'm not going to be convinced that the Rockies have been throwing out, unbeatable pitching. So I think there's definitely a big reason to go with the Rockies tonight. Tyler Chatwood makes sense. Now, above him, I mean, tons of options you could go with. I can make a case for Tanner Roark, Charlie Morton. We know he has upside, though over the past, last outing was not very good. We know that there's upside there. Mike Leake has upside, Rich Hill. I'm going to go to Luis Severino. I mean, it's probably a chalky play, 9,500 on FanDuel. Like I said, I mean, he has like that landmine with him as well. The Royals just haven't allowed Yankees pitching to really dominate them this year. Even like a high strikeout guy like Michael Pineda has only been able to put up pretty average outings against them. Severino, after a scorching 3-game stretch there that included 2 games and double-digit strikeouts, has calmed down for the most part. Yes, he has that high strikeout upside. He fanned 9 Cubs in Chicago a few weeks back, but in between then, he's had some rocky showings. I'm not going to let that dissuade me. I mean, I'm hoping a lot of people kind of look at the Royals over the past couple of nights and say, all right, they put up some runs. I don't want to waste my money on Severino, especially when Sale is just a little bit higher than him. But I think he's worth a look in tournaments, especially on a night where we could certainly see, uber high ownership on Chris Sale, and players just try to spend down because the pitching just really seems the same from about Luis Severino, not to the bottom, but to guys like Tyler Chatwood. For me, I'm going to put most of my action on to Chris Sale tonight. It's hard to look past a guy who's averaging double-digit strikeouts. Only had 1 game against Pittsburgh thus far this year where he hasn't hit double-digit strikeouts. He's also only had 2 games that he hasn't given up a run in. So, interesting note, I think you can probably buy a home run here. You might be able to swing someone out like a Mike Napoli and get lucky that he connects for a long ball. Is that going to be enough at the position for that person to win you a tournament? I just really don't think so. There's a possibility someone could hit 2, but now you're really, if a home run in itself is tough to predict, now you're really going out on a limb. But Sale against the Texas Rangers, who just aren't as good away from home. They're about a 25% strikeout team against left-handed hitting. All of their other stats that I factor in, WOBA, ISO, hard hit, all at league average or below. I think the only thing that's around league average is their hard hit percent. So, I mean, there's no reason not to put in Chris Sale. And this is baseball. It's a little bit different than, like basketball or football, for example. Like, we know Le'Veon Bell his floor is probably like 10.9 fantasy points on FanDuel. Well, Mike Trout's floor on FanDuel is 0. And that's the truth, which means a guy like Devin Marrero, his floor is also 0. Now, the ceilings are much different, but I'm just trying to illustrate the fact that you can get cheap guys and use cheap guys in baseball with a little less stress, I think, than in other sports. So I'm going to build around Sale on both sites tonight. He may, in fact, end up being a lock for me. Once again, our top 3 tournament pitchers: Tyler Chatwood, Luis Severino, Chris Sale. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Head over to Facebook. Like us at Research Fantasy. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And join us again tomorrow.